One is called FIFO, where we say what comes in first goes out first. If I bought 120, I sold 100. Which 20 is unsold? The first 20 or the middle 20 or the last 20? See, you will not match when you sell. You may just pick up any random item and sell it, right? But for the purpose of accounting, you're supposed to match the accounting. Maybe the first 20 you bought for $10, then 12, then 13. So you have to ensure that you match the items at least from an accounting point of view. And that is why we say, fine, let's give it a word. Let's call it FIFO or LIFO. Now, what is FIFO? Inventory coming first is assumed. Remember, assume. You may not really sell it first. You may sell the recent item, or you may decide to sell beach item. But are you really selling the first item? No compulsion, because that's a judgment call. But in accounting, we assume that you have sold the first item first. How does that affect you on this? Basically, that means the latest inventory is line stock. Okay. Now you need to understand the impact of this. I'll show you an example here. Let's say, now look here, let's say purchases. Okay. I purchased, let's say I purchased 10 items at $2. Then I purchased another 15 items at $3. Okay. And then another 20 items at $4. Now learn carefully what's happening. Okay. These are my purchases. Now, if I sold only 25 items, I sold. Okay. That means my closing stock is how much? I bought 45, I sold 25, my closing stock is 20. Right? Now you tell me, my sold cost was how much? 10 at 2, 20 and 45. So what I sold is costing $65, right? Costing, which is my COGS, because I considered this and this. So therefore I said it's 10 and 2, 20, 15, 3 are 45, so 65, right? Which means my closing stock is now worth 80, right? It's worth 80. Because I assume that I sold the old stuff first. Now, why is this happening? Because inflation. I hope you know we're in an inflation world where everything is obviously increasing. So when I bought at 2, it became 3, then 4, I kept buying. But I assume first in, first out. So COGS is valued at the cheaper price. You agree? And closing stock is valued at the higher price. Are we clear? Now let's assume I did leave. Means I said what came last has gone first. So in that case, you will value 25 at what value? At 4? You will take 20 at 4 and 5 at 3. So 24 is 8 and 5 3 is 15. So your answer becomes 95, right? If you do FIFO, it is 65, LIFO, it is 95. But closing stock will value the old one, right? Which is how much? 20. So 10 at 2, 20 and 10 at 3, 30. So closing stock will be 40. Now notice that 65 plus 80 is 145, 95, and this is 80, 95, and this is 20, right? 10 at 2, 20, and 10 at 3, 30, 50 this is, right? And 95 plus 50 is 145, 65 plus 80 is 140. So it total be 145. But look what happened here. When you had FIFO, your COGS was 65 and stock was 80. But in LIFO, your COGS was more and your stock is lower. Why? Because when you do FIFO, your COGS is at lower price. But in LIFO, your COGS is at the recent price. So it'll be higher. You agree with this logic? Very important analysis, which means now, in conclusion, in FIFO, my COGS will always be less compared to LIFO. In FIFO, my stock will always be high compared to LIFO. Why? Recent stock, higher price.